They laughed at his rifle. Not standard issue. Not approved. Bought through a mail-order catalog, like a cheap civilian toy. On a battlefield ruled by fear and unseen enemies, no one believed it would matter. But in one of the most dangerous jungles of the Pacific War, that rifle was about to rewrite the rules. In a place where American soldiers were pinned down by snipers they couldn't see, confidence was collapsing faster than bodies were falling. How did a weapon the Army never trusted end a crisis entire units couldn't solve? And what kind of battlefield makes a single man and an unconventional rifle more effective than doctrine? To understand why that rifle changed everything, we first need to return to the chaos of Guadalcanal, when the jungle itself was winning the war. By the end of 1942, the Pacific War was still far from anything resembling control for the United States. American troops were largely inexperienced in jungle warfare, trained for maneuver battles in open terrain. Not for an environment where visibility rarely exceeded a few yards, and the enemy seemed fused with the vegetation itself. The jungle was not just a backdrop, it was an active weapon, exacting a constant toll in exhaustion, mistakes, and silent deaths. Guadalcanal stood at the center of that attrition. Since August 1942, U.S. Marines had been fighting continuously for control of the island. They had captured Henderson Field, a vital strategic objective. But that victory did not equal dominance. Large portions of the island remained contested, especially Mount Austin and the coastal groves west of the Matanacaw River. When the U.S. Army relieved the Marines in late December, it inherited a fragmented battlefield, unstable, incomplete, and filled with unseen enemies. The combat environment amplified every problem. Guadalcanal's jungle was dense, wet, and suffocating. Tropical rain turned the ground into permanent mud. Massive trees formed a natural canopy that erased light and depth perception. Diseases like malaria and dysentery incapacitated soldiers at nearly the same rate as enemy fire. Simply moving forward demanded extreme physical effort and constant vigilance. One moment of carelessness was often fatal. The Japanese understood this terrain better and earlier than their opponents. Adapted to jungle warfare, they turned the environment into a force multiplier. One of their most effective tools was the use of snipers as a psychological weapon. Positioned high in enormous trees, often more than 80 feet above the ground, these shooters could observe trails, water sources, and supply routes for entire days. They did not need to win battles. One well-timed shot was enough to freeze an entire patrol. The effect on American morale was severe. Patrols hesitated to advance. Soldiers avoided stopping to drink water. Sleep became dangerous. Every snapped branch sounded like a rifle shot. Every shadow suggested a hidden enemy. At Point Cruz, this fear reached its peak. No fixed bunkers, no clear front lines, only invisible men in the trees. An enemy who did not need to capture ground, only to erode confidence until movement itself felt impossible. It was within this atmosphere of total exhaustion and mounting losses that American command, running out of conventional options, chose to attempt something completely outside the manual. If you're enjoying stories like this, where wars are shaped by environment, pressure, and human limits, take a moment to support the channel. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because from this point on, this stops being a story about a battlefield and becomes a story about one man changing it. At dawn on January 22, 1943, the young lieutenant moved alone into the ruins of a captured Japanese bunker overlooking the coconut groves west of Point Cruz. He brought no spotter, no radio, no escort. Just his rifle, a canteen, and ammunition. Intelligence said the snipers operated from massive banyan trees, some nearly 90 feet tall. Men climbed them before sunrise and remained hidden all day, invisible to anyone on the ground. From this position, the lieutenant began to do what no one else had managed, patiently observe the trees, not the jungle floor. At 9:17 a.m., he saw movement. A branch shifted without wind, 87 feet up and 240 yards away. Through the modest magnification of his scope, the shape resolved into a man wedged into a fork of branches, facing east toward an American supply trail. The lieutenant adjusted for wind, controlled his breathing, and squeezed the trigger. The rifle cracked. The sniper fell, tumbling through branches to the jungle floor. Seconds later, a second sniper revealed himself while attempting to retreat from a nearby tree. One more shot. 2 kills. 2 rounds. The myth of Japanese invisibility shattered before the morning was over. By late morning, a third sniper fired back, missing the lieutenant's head by inches. Instead of fleeing, he waited. He studied the trees, found the shooter repositioning in the same trunk, and fired again. The sniper fell. By noon, 5 Japanese snipers were dead. The battalion began to realize that something unprecedented was happening in the groves of Point Cruz. The Japanese responded quickly. Movement during daylight ceased. When rain came the next morning, it masked sound and visibility, and under its cover, new snipers climbed into position. The lieutenant waited until visibility returned, then resumed his methodical scan. One by one, he identified subtle betrayals, silhouettes against sky, movement at the wrong moment, shadows that did not belong. By mid-morning of January 23rd, his 6th sniper fell from a tree nearly 300 yards away. This time, the response was heavier. Japanese mortars began falling around his position, walking closer with each salvo. When the third barrage came, he fled moments before the bunker was destroyed. Relocating under fire, he resumed his hunt from a fallen tree. The dynamic had changed. This was no longer a one-sided hunt. The remaining snipers knew they were being targeted, and they were now hunting him. Despite this, the lieutenant continued. 7th kill, 8th kill. One sniper climbed too high, confident in elevation, only to silhouette himself against the changing light. By the end of the second day, 8 of the 11 snipers were dead. 12 shots fired. For misses, the balance had fully shifted. That night, the lieutenant understood what remained. The last 3 snipers were the most experienced, survivors who had learned from every mistake their comrades had made. They knew his rifle, his approximate location, and his methods, and they would not offer easy shots. On January 24th, rain again delayed operations. Using the time, the lieutenant relocated to an unexpected firing position among rocks once used as a Marine machine gun nest. From there, he spotted a low-position sniper in a palm tree, an unusual choice. It felt wrong, too visible, too convenient. Instead of firing, he searched deeper and found the real threat, a perfectly concealed sniper watching his previous location, waiting for him to take the bait. The lieutenant used the decoy against them. One shot dropped the visible sniper. As predicted, the hidden shooter shifted to react, just enough movement to give himself away. A second shot followed. 2 more snipers fell within seconds. 10 down, 1 remaining. But the final sniper changed tactics entirely. He abandoned the trees and moved on the ground, crawling through undergrowth, tracking the lieutenant's previous escape routes. The hunter had become the stalker. The lieutenant submerged himself in a water-filled shell crater and waited motionless as the sniper moved within 40 yards, then turned his back. Still, the lieutenant hesitated. Experience told him this was not over. He was right. A second Japanese soldier revealed himself, covering the approach. Outnumbered and armed with a bolt-action rifle, the lieutenant waited longer. When both enemies committed to a sweep past his position, exposing their backs, he rose from the water. 2 shots, 2 kills. The final sniper fell. 11 snipers neutralized. Moments later, Japanese infantry arrived to recover the bodies. The lieutenant fought his way out in close combat, killing several attackers, then broke contact and escaped through the jungle. When he returned to American lines, the crisis at Point Cruz was over. The snipers were gone, the fear was gone, and the battalion could finally move again. The immediate result at Point Cruz was unmistakable. The sniper threat that had killed 14 Americans in 3 days vanished almost overnight. Patrols resumed movement. Supply routes reopened. Men slept again without expecting death from above. What weeks of standard operations had failed to solve was ended in 4 days by a single officer applying patience, marksmanship, and an understanding of the environment that matched and then exceeded the enemy's. Point Cruz was no longer a killing ground. It was just terrain again. But the real impact went beyond that stretch of jungle. For American command, Guadalcanal exposed a hard truth. Standardized doctrine and equipment were not enough for every battlefield. The war in the Pacific was not being fought on firing ranges or open fields. It was being fought in mud, rain, disease, and shadows. The solution did not come from new technology or overwhelming firepower, but from adapting faster than the enemy, even if that meant trusting an unconventional rifle and an unconventional approach. The response was immediate. Instead of dismissing what had happened as an anomaly, commanders acted. Sniper sections were improvised. Rifles with optics were gathered from abandoned marine stocks. Experienced marksmen were pulled from the ranks and trained for a role the U.S. Army had never formally institutionalized. John George was not treated as a lone hero. He became a template, a product of circumstance that revealed a capability the Army had neglected. Guadalcanal left a lasting lesson. Modern wars are often imagined as contests of industry and numbers, but they are still decided in specific places, under specific conditions, by individuals who understand their environment better than their enemy. At Point Cruz, victory did not come from doing more. It came from seeing differently. And for 4 days in January 1943, that difference changed the balance of an entire front. And if you like seeing how one person can change the course of a battle, discover how American soldiers celebrated Christmas in the middle of the Pacific War. The video is on your screen now. Click and watch that story.